In today's video, traders, I'm taking a look at dollar Canadian, and I actually just got filled on the trade here. You can see we are currently long on dollar CAD. I've got my stop down here, and I've got my take profit all the way up here, which I'll get to in a second. Let's break down the trade. Let's talk about why I'm in this particular trade, as well as follow up with the trade and watch it unfold. Whether it's a winner or loser, I'm going to be posting it here on YouTube so that you guys can hopefully learn from it and get some sort of education from my trades happening live in front of your face. So let's go ahead and get into the video right now. So I've pulled my kind of thing here down so we can take a look at the take profit here. You can see the take profit is up here, and if price moves all the way up here on dollar Canadian, I'm looking to take $227.77 off the table in terms of a profit on this particular dollar Canadian move. Now you can see we are currently in the trade, and what we have is we have our risk managed right below here. So we have a $76, let's say, loss if price turns back and gets us out here by turning back, right? So let's talk a little bit about why I'm in the trade, as well as kind of follow up with the trade as it goes along. So let's take it down real quick to the 30-minute chart. This will help us picture what's going on. So dollar Canadian, I woke up this morning and I came and looked at my charts probably right around this area here. I was taking a look at the charts and I said, okay, I see some bullish momentum continuing and pushing to the upside on dollar Canadian. I'd like to be a part of that, but only if I see a key breakout, okay? So I was watching this area of resistance. You saw price come up into this area and it started to pull back. Well, right here, I alerted VIP members in the VIP chat and I said, okay, if this trade decides to break up, if we see a continuation and we actually kind of nullify this candle and we see price break through those highs, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look to take a long trade in favor of the momentum of the day. So what do I mean by that? Well, the market is moving to the upside today. The direction of today's movement has been to the upside since the London session. We've seen some nice push to the upside, and I want to be a part of that here in the New York session. So what did I do? Well, along the tops here, I'm looking to catch the break of this particular yesterday's high, or not yesterday's high, but a recent high here that was significant, right? So if price breaks through that level, I want to be long, which we are currently long right now in this candle. Now price so far, it started out really well. We shot through our level, which is nice, but we are seeing a pullback currently, which is okay. We have some room here to see if the trade comes back and stops out. No big deal if it does stop out. That's part of breakout trading. This is in fact a continuation trade, a continuation breakout more specifically, right? So we have the market making a move to the upside and looking to capture a momentum push to the upside. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart again, and you can see this area here, right, is a level of significance, especially yesterday, right? So we had this level come into play. This was a high. So if price can get up into that point, that's going to be a barrier for us as sellers. But if price can break through that level, that might mean that we could trigger to push further. You can see we don't have any sort of major short-term resistance. Let's bring it to the 4 hour chart. And this is really where my target is in place for a reason. If you look on the 4 hour chart, again, we're executing the trade on the 30-minute and the 1 hour chart. It's a short-term trade, catching some of this momentum, but you can see that the market was rolling over and price was forming kind of lower lows and pushing lower, but then we had this break and we had this continued momentum to the upside. This shows me that momentum has been to the upside and we could see a continuation. Well, if price goes in our favor here, I'm looking to get out of the trade up here at recent levels of resistance. What do I mean? This level here. This previous level of resistance sold off very hard after some big news that we had. I believe it was Bank of Canada. The rates came out or something came out about the Bank of Canada, which was very bearish for CAD pairs, right? Which means that dollar Canadian actually moved up. Okay, so we had dollar Canadian making a move to the upside very, very sharply, but then we found some rejection. So in this area, there might be a good chance that sellers could hold that zone as they did up here if price starts to get up to that point. So again, it makes sense that my take profit would be in this area for a level of resistance if price can get up to that recent high. And again, keeping things kind of clear here, we have this stop loss down here. So if price breaks back down, then no big deal, we'll just stop out. But what I'm looking to do is catch this momentum to the upside if we can see it unfold here on dollar Canadian. Back down to the 1 hour chart, you can see that we are currently just under our entry there. We put a buy stop there of one lot there, one standard lot, to see if price can break up. Again, we could be wrong about this trade. We could be out of it for a loser. No big deal. We'll take the quick loss and move on. But this 20 period MA is another reason that I like this trade. Price has been respecting it pretty nicely here on the 1 hour chart. You can see as price came down to this area, it held very nicely. As price came down, it held very nicely. Short-term bounce there, and now looking to see that we can kind of continue that momentum to the upside. Again, I have about a 3-to-1 risk to reward, which is pretty decent in my opinion. I like to have that 3 times reward to my 1 times risk. But what this means, guys, one thing that I'd like to point out is that a lot of times you're gonna have stop outs because your risk is relatively close to your entry. So if price comes back down, then no big deal. We're just going to take that 1 times risk in exchange for those times when we have those big winners that cash in nicely overall for this particular style of trading. So I'll be back soon with an update. Okay, traders, so we're looking pretty good here as we are looking here at dollar Canadian on the 15-minute chart. You can see price did pop out of our level, right? So we did get into our zone here and it popped out of this resistance point here very nicely. You can see price is above that recent high that we pointed out, but it also is now testing. If we go back to the 30-minute chart, you can see overall here on the left, this level of resistance that we mentioned, which was a significant high from yesterday's price action. So that's going to be a big indicator. We can see price is closing above it right now, or it looks like it wants to close above it, and will be interesting to see if it can continue to rise above this level and hold above this level of resistance, right? So we have this kind of zone of resistance here to the left. If we just put one line here, you can see price is currently trading just above that level, and if price can close above it, then we might actually see some continuation here on dollar Canadian. Looking at that 1 hour chart, looking nice. We are, let's see how far we are in profit right now. Looking like we're just up 6 or so pips from our entry there. Not bad at all. Looking to see if we can get that continuation to play out. Now at some point, if price can start to make a move in my favor, I will look to lock in some of the risk. What that means is that at some point I'll look to move my stop either to break even or into slight profits to see if we can lock in some of those gains. But I'm not going to do that just yet. Price has just started moving and we could completely see a reversal and stop out still. We're not in the clear by any means just yet. Price is moving in our favor for now. We had a nice little movement on that 1 hour candle up. What is that, 11 or 12 pips there on this bar. So looking to continue that bullish momentum here into the rest of the New York session. It is currently about 9:38 a.m. We've still got some time on the clock to see if price can continue to move to the upside on dollar Canadian. So it looks like dollar Canadian pulled a fast one on a lot of people. You can see price is pulling back very sharply from where we were just at. Price pulling back about 15 or 16 pips there off of the move. And it looks like we might get stopped out here on the trade. Now, the reason I want to show you guys this, and the reason I'm sharing this trade on YouTube, is so that you can see some of the realities of trying to catch the break. It's not going to be where you're hitting this long-term or this nice big fat take profit all the time. There's going to be times where you have to deal with things like this, which this would we call a fake out, right? This is what we would call a market fake out, where price looks like it wants to break higher and break through resistance and then pulls back very sharply. And unfortunately, what we get a lot of times in trading breakouts is we can't really avoid these 100%. They're just going to happen, right? So there's going to be times where the market makes you think that it's going to break higher or break lower, and we get that big reversal. Now, the reason I'm not stopping out of the trade right now is I still want to give the trade a chance to go back and fill this candle to see if we can continue that upward momentum that we've had on this New York session. I know people will say, well, why don't you just stop out right now? Well, it's because I don't know what's going to happen next, and I am looking to see that this momentum can continue. If it does come out to our stop out, then no big deal. We'll just move on from the trade and we'll look for other opportunities. But again, hindsight 2020. A lot of times people on YouTube comments will say, well, you should have done this, but they know exactly what happened after the fact. So with an open mind here, I'm waiting to see if price can continue to go up. If it does not, we'll just stop out and move on from the trade to take another opportunity. It's not about winning every single trade. It's about winning in the long run. So we'll see what we get here on dollar Canadian. And USD CAD is popping up and looking like it wants to fill this wick here that we mentioned. As we just mentioned, I didn't close out the trade here because, you know, price did pull back very strongly, but it didn't necessarily come back to my stop loss. And so I wanted to give the trade the room to continue to run. Now we are back up into profit. Price looked like it wanted to fill that gap. We're seeing a little bit of a retracement here on this 1 hour chart that just got started. So we'll see if we can get continuation. Of course, we could be still wrong. We could see this market pull back, but for the the time being, looking to see that we get that continuation. These wicks did fake out some of the buyers, but we are seeing that price is still making a push to the upside. So if I just stopped out, I might have been giving away a potential winner that we have here on the chart. Of course, we still have room to see if price will pull back and stop us out. And if it does, no big deal. But I really like to give my trades room to run. I know that a lot of people, when they're watching the videos, they'll say, oh, you should have just closed out there, or you should have just, take profit there. But for me, what's very important is sticking to my plan and sticking to my rules. My plan is to keep this stop loss in play and let it run until it either stops out or until we move profits into break even at a certain point here on the trade. Usually what I'm looking for is either setting that at a 2-to-1, we move the stop to break even, something like that, right? So I'm looking to lock in some of the risk and take it off the table from there. So we'll see what we get on dollar Canadian. Looking pretty bullish here on the 30-minute chart as price has broken up and our level has held for the time being. Still seeing the potential to rise on dollar CAD. Okay, traders, so dollar Canadian is making a nice move to the upside. I'm pretty glad that we did not do anything kind of irrational or just quick decisions when price was pulling back here. You can see we did in fact get that wick that we mentioned on that 30-minute chart to actually fill. Price completely filled the wick here. So price, as it pushed up, it did get pulled back, right? And there was probably a lot of people who got faked out of the move there, probably people who started selling. But in fact, we held onto the position. We were patient with the move and we saw price start to rally back up, and now you can see price is moving nicely in our favor. Especially if we drop down to the 15-minute chart, you can see it real clean. Price has moved and now breaking through the high of day, which is really cool. We did form a high of the day right there, so looking to see if price can continue in our favor. Now notice we are still a good bit away from our target. We still have, what is that? Let's say 13 or so pips to go. So if price decides to continue, then that'll be awesome. And at some point pretty soon here, I'd say probably if we break through this structure high one more time, I'm going to go ahead and lock in my risk on the trade, meaning that I move the trade to break even at the very least, right? But I want to still give this trade as much chance as possible to actually end out profitable. Remember, when we were back here, there probably would be a lot of people who would just say, well, let's just cut it out right now and quit on the trade. But I still believe in the trade here. My idea here is based on the momentum of the day. We have a lot of bullishness on dollar Canadian. And maybe more specifically, we have a lot of weakness on the CAD side. So I'm looking for the US dollar to appreciate relative to the CAD. So with that said, if price can continue to break a little bit higher, then I will probably move my stop to break even or slightly above that so that the trade cannot kind of destroy the gains here on the account so far. I'm just going to manage the risk as best as possible. So we'll see if we can get up a little bit further and manage the risk on the trade. Okay, traders, so on dollar Canadian here, price is moving up to that point and it looks like price is breaking through here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to lock in some of the risk here on the trade. Now I'm looking at the 15-minute chart. You can see my risk down here is just about $76. Price has moved in my favor and I'm looking for this momentum to continue. So at this point, if the market decides to come back, then maybe I just close out for break even if price comes back to my entry, right? Because the idea is, again, that the momentum of this market is what's hopefully going to pull me all the way up to this take profit. But if it does not, if we don't see that happen and price does reverse, then I'm just going to stop out here right about at break even. You can see we'll take slight profits there on the trade. But the idea here is that what we're going to do is we're going to limit the potential downside of this move. So we've got our trade here nicely in profit. We are currently up, let's say, what is that? About 20 or so pips there on the move. So if price can continue, we've got about 10 more pips to go before we'll close out that profit for right around $227. Otherwise, we'll close out for zero, probably just right around a few dollars profit there. If the market does pull back, right? So I don't think that the market necessarily will pull back. It's possible that it does happen though, because the markets can be completely crazy sometimes, right? So if we have some volatility and we see markets start to sell off heavily here on dollar Canadian, then I want to just hold the line here. I want to just get out of the trade if price comes back to my entry. Otherwise, I want to see that I can get that full profit. So at this point, I have moved my stop to break even and we're going to let the trade run from here. I'm not going to move anything else. I'm just going to wait for either my take take profit to get hit for that profit of $227, or I'm going to get out for right around break even on the trade, and I'm happy with the result either way. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We'll see if the market can give us a good opportunity here, or if we're just going to break even and look for more opportunities. What's up, traders? Little update here on USD CAD. You can see price did pull back on us. We had a little bit of a delay, and I took a break from looking at the charts for a bit, but I wanted to do an update here before I head to bed. As we mentioned previously in one of the updates, we went ahead and moved the stop here on the trade to break even. So at the very least, we'll be out of the trade without any sort of loss. But what I wanted to point out is that I am going to bed, and I'm going to kind of move on from the charts, or at least I'm going to stop trading for the day. And I'm not going to look at it anymore. So the idea here is that we have broken through this high, and I think that there's a pretty good chance that we could see price rally to touch our take profit. We're just about 8 or 9 pips there from getting out of the trade for a profit there of, again, right around $227. So we'll see if we can get that full target. If not, I'm still not going to move my stop into profit anymore. I know some people will say, you should move it up to somewhere like this, right? You should move it into profit so that you don't lose anything on the trade, or you gain something from the trade that's pretty decent. And I understand that line of thinking, and I'm not saying that that's a wrong line of thinking, but for me in my own strategy here, once I've moved my stop to break even in my own strategy here, I don't move the stop anymore, right? So I just give the trade the best chance I give it to continue and hit that full target, which right now I'm just going to let it breathe. The worst case scenario is I wake up tomorrow, or I guess the worst case scenario would be that nothing happens over the evening. But the best case scenario would be we take out this target high and we get out of the trade for that $227. And I guess the worst case scenario is that we're out of the trade for right around break even. So really, it's a win-win scenario from here. I'm very happy with whatever the trade outcome is, and I'm not going to say I woulda, shoulda, coulda, because that's the sort of thing that gets you to trade or change your trading strategy, even though there might not be something wrong with your trading strategy. It's okay to stop out for break even sometimes. Psychologically, it can be taxing, but objectively, and speaking as a kind of objective trader, you got to be okay with taking those unfortunate events. Recently, I took one of those sorts of trades on Aussie dollar. It was not fun, but it's part of trading, and I moved on, and sure enough, the very next day, I caught a beautiful sell trade on New Zealand dollar, right? So it's all about the process. It's not about making money right now. It's not about locking in these gains to guarantee that I'm going to make a nice profit on this move. If I make a profit on the move and my analysis plays out as I expected it to, then great, we make money. If not, what do? We do nothing. We stick to the plan. So we'll be back tomorrow here with an update on dollar Canadian to see how this trade plays out. Okay, traders, so we are at the end of this trade, and I want to actually take this opportunity to talk about something that I think is very, very important to people who are both learning or experienced traders. So this trade on dollar Canadian ended up actually being a break-even trade. That means that price came all the way back from where it was in that profitable position back to break even, and I took the trade for break even there, right? So that means I made no money and I lost no money. And a lot of times when I post these videos of my losing trades, a lot of traders don't post videos of losing trades. They don't want to share the losing or the downside because of all the criticism that comes, because of the people kind of saying, oh, you should have done this and you should have done that. I understand that no matter what you do, people are going to disagree with you, and they say, you should do this or you should do that. But the reality about trading and trading success is that there's many ways for people to become profitable in the markets, and that there's not one way that's the right way. No matter what you do in your strategy or in my strategy, people will always find a way to say, well, you should have done this. And here's the thing. If what is working for you is working for you, you shouldn't change to what other people are saying. So in my case, I like to move my stop in this particular strategy to break even when price gets into a favorable position. From there, I don't move the target anymore, I don't move the stop anymore, and I let the trade run out. This works out in a lot of cases, and sometimes it doesn't, like in this case, which is an unfortunate situation, but it's a situation that no matter what you do in the currency market, there will always be moments, there will always be things that make you kind of get frustrated. So I'm not frustrated. I'm actually very, very happy with how this trade closed out. I got a great video here shot. I filmed the whole thing, and I filmed my psychology behind the scenes so that hopefully you and I can both learn from this situation. I didn't change any of my rules and I didn't adjust what I was doing just because someone said I should have done this, or it didn't work last time so I changed everything to make it fit this time, because the markets are constantly changing and you have to stick to your plan. My plan calls for me to move my stop to break even and to let the trade either run and hit my target or break even. No big deal if we move on to another opportunity. I had a great trading week regardless of this trade and I'm happy with it, and let's move on.